Before we jump into today's topic, a quick disclaimer. The stories and data we share come from the states that we practice in and the experiences that we personally had, which can differ greatly across our country and certainly the globe. This is not a professional advice show, so let's get comfy and talk about death.
Hello and welcome to Mort Mike.
A down-to-earth discussion on death and dying.
I'm Brandy.
And I'm Red, and we are your Sisters Grimm this week. Welcome back to our second part of such a gruesome tale of death and destruction and chaos and whatever else have you.
This is like a fucked up show and tell. Issuing a content warning on some pretty graphic descriptions of murder and torture.
But as promised from last week, especially those that are listening to these episodes consecutively after they come out, we are going to be giving a little palate cleanser from horrific, gruesome, and brutal deaths that we were talking about. And honestly, if this has been traumatic for you guys listening to these, you can blame our winner that picked our episode from last year's donor pool, Vermilion. So you can get on their case, not ours.
Exactly.
But to kick everything back off again, as promised, here's a little bit of a palate cleanser. Brandy, take us away.
I'm going to tell you a fairy tale. Just a little snippet of it.
Fairy tale, yay.
Warning, heavy spoilers for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Be warned, I'm going to ruin the ending. I'm going to just completely ruin it.
Okay.
But after hearing Sharon and her friend's murders, this is the best gift I can give you.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking of us.
Always.
Listeners.
You got to hit them hard, you know. It's a sandwich compliment or compliment
there
sandwich.
You go.
That's the words we're looking for, you know. But instead, it's, you know, bad news, good news. That's what we're doing here. We're doing bad news, good news. Let you live in a fantasy world for a moment.
Wrap me in a warm blanket of fantasy. Yes.
Exactly. This isn't a movie review, although it is a very good movie. And I'm not going to tell you really any of the plot, just the nitty gritty, nasty murder details.
Beautiful. Sold. Send it.
Perfect. Okay, I'm glad you're in. So, let's imagine a world where the Manson family members ended up at the wrong house.
Okay.
A house that was occupied by one of Hollywood's most notorious stuntmen. A man with decent-ish morals and more fighting skill than these idiots could have imagined.
It's a table turn. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. Okay. So, around midnight, drugged out beyond belief, that's my opinion of it. They don't say it, but you can assume.
Yeah.
Just like they were in real life. The four assailants approach the Tate household street. But in this version, they're confronted by an angry homeowner who waves his frozen margarita at them and yells at them to take their trash car someplace else.
Oh my God. Can that just be me? I just want to be that person.
Just out in your robe, middle of the night, bunch of hippies roll up onto your street with their loud-ass muffler.
I cannot be bothered at this point. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. I'm trying to enjoy my margarita. Damn, son. So our boy Tex, who in this version is unfortunately represented by Austin Butler.
Oh, God.
I'm personally not an Austin Butler hater, but I have seen the memes. They are funny.
The memes are very funny.
He takes it personally and decides that they're going to that house instead. One of the women gets uncomfortable with the change and fakes needing to go back to the car for her weapon. Tex hands her the keys, like a drugged out idiot would do, and the girl straight up bolts, leaving them without a getaway.
Oh my God.
And they continue forward. The three remaining members break into the house, one through the back door and two through the front. Doors are not locked.
There was that time, like in history, where just not a lot of murders had been happening, so everybody was so trusting of their neighbors. So
yeah,
it tracks.
I was surprised in the real murder that they had to break in through a window. I was like, oh, I guess even celebrities at that time should have been locking their doors.
For sure.
I digress. So, Tex orders one of the women to go and get whoever is sleeping in the back room, not realizing that the homeowner is out in the pool floating and listening to some tapes. Back in the living room, Cliff, our stuntman, asks who they are and why they're there. And while pulling a gun, Tex says that famous line, "I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Somehow worse the second time around.
Yeah, well, imagine it's coming out of Austin Butler's mouth and he has like a Texas accent. That's it. It's interesting. So Cliff, who is drunk out of his mind and had just smoked a cigarette laced with LSD while he was walking his beautiful and highly trained pit bull, Brandy, by the way, is her name.
Good namesake.
Great name. Genius, really. Gives him the most condescending look, and it is truly priceless. And the girl behind him yells, "Tex, shoot him!" And Tex goes to cock the gun like a dumbass. But this isn't until after they're able to pull the wife of the homeowner who's floating out in the back into the living room to join the party. So now in the living room, we have Cliff, Tex, two of the women who are also assailants. They're not really as named in the movie. They're not the characters from the real murder. Tex is really the only real character brought in it. And then there's a lot of like side characters that were really in the cult, but these kind of three women are more so fictional versions of the real women.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why I'm not really naming them, because it doesn't match up with the previous story. So they pull Francesca, the wife of the homeowner, in there, and she's in there with them while the homeowner is still in the back having his good old time. And he sicks Brandy on his fucking hand. So she jumps from the couch, grabs Tex's wrists, and brings him down to the ground.
Let's go.
So good. The woman that came in through the back door begins screaming and charging at Cliff with a kitchen knife. Great weapon. And he returns by aiming and hitting her dead center in the face with a can of dog food he was about to feed Brandy. Oh, and it's so good. Whole face basically just explodes and starts bleeding, and she goes straight down.
Oh my gosh.
Like the good girl that she is, Brandy bites the fuck out of Tex's balls as he tries to get her off of him.
Oh, working pup. I love it.
She's so perfect. Cliff signals her to leave Tex and attack good old bloody face instead. Tex, who is somehow still walking, brandishes a smaller kitchen knife and squares up to Cliff again. The fight does not last long because Cliff quickly rediverts the weapon into Tex's thigh and then punches him in the face.
Pick the wrong house, motherfucker.
Just finishes him off with a heel of his hand to his skull. Just couldn't hurt more, I'm sure. Well, maybe the dog can, honestly, hurt more.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would feel like.
Pitbull's bite strength is specifically one of like the strongest too, like bone breaking.
Yeah.
So... Dude, your balls are gone. Your balls are obliterated.
I've seen what bursted balls look like, and that has to be exactly what happened to him. She probably just squeezed him out the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
He
like a fucking gusher.
Yeah, like a gusher. Perfect analogy. So the homeowner's wife sees how weak these idiots actually are, takes that opportunity, and punches the other woman in the face, and bolts back to the bedroom. Dazed, the woman who just took a punch to the face tackles Cliff, leaving him with a small knife in his hip. He promptly grabs her by the back of the head and just starts smashing her face over and over again into the mounted phone on the wall.
Bruh.
Then goes over to the next wall. There's a frame poster. Starts smashing her face into that. Moves on over to the mantle of the fireplace. Just keeps going. Gets on his knees down to the dining room or the living room table. Smashes her face and then just looks at her. Realizes she's a puddle of nothing at that point and just drops her.
Oh,
chef's kiss. Beautiful. The other bloody face, who is being ripped up by the razor teeth of a dog, is disoriented and obviously in shock. She finds the gun, shoots into the air, scaring Brandy, who goes to join the other victim in the bedroom. And the girl starts running, crashes through the glass door, finally alerting the homeowner who's floating in his pool.
Just absolutely chilling the fuck out there while all this is happening.
And
inside.
he's just like, oh, and he just falls in. And he's like, what is going on? She slams into the pool and continues freaking out, shooting the gun into the air. He rushes out of the pool and into his shed to find the only weapon he knows that he owns, a flamethrower.
What? Fucking what?
And then just torches her.
I'm sorry, the only weapon that he owns? Like,
I think
oh my
so.
God.
Like, it's not clear, but it has to be the only weapon that this particular man owns. Because he's like, my boy Cliff's got me, you know? And he was right. He was right. So after he torches her, you know, he's like, oh, my people are inside. So he runs back into the house to help, just to find the mess of bodies and his wife safe and Cliff passed out on the floor.
Having done his duties,
he did.
Signing off.
Everybody was a good boy and a good girl.
Oh my gosh, that's so fucking cool. I'm gonna have to check this movie out because that definitely like helped desensitize or just soap my brain a little bit after listening to the real murders.
Yeah, because it just feels like good ass revenge, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just so good, and the deaths are perfect. It's those good long, drawn out Quentin Tarantino deaths.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Good.
That's such a good feeling, just to when stupid people get what's coming to them type of feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh, I know what I'm watching tonight after we record.
Heck
that's
yeah,
happening.
It's so good. Let me know what you think, because it's like top 5 favorite movies for me. Has like a 5-star review in my book, so
fuck yeah. All right, it's going on the list.
Nice.
So to go into my real life horrendous murders, I thought I would stray a little bit away from like serial killers and those type of things with big flavored murders in favor of doing something I kind of already did with the Saw rabbit hole. Murder's bad enough, but to me, there is one worse way to go, and that is torture. The chances of somebody being allowed to live after being tortured back in the day was pretty slim to none. It was pretty much a completely hopeless situation to be in.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The jails they'd keep you in the interim were filthy, they were uncomfortable and vermin infested. Like, these were just the most gruesome and inhuman tortures. And if the torture didn't kill you, you were pretty much going to be slated for execution right after. So I'm going to be running through some of the most hellish tortures that I could find throughout the ages.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is sick.
I've always been like, that's kind of like a fear of mine. Like, not just being murdered, which I think everybody kind of has a fear of, but specifically like being tortured before being killed is like just really a spooky thing to me personally. So definitely like the scariest thing when I was growing up. I'm like, I wasn't scared of like the boogeyman in the closet. It's like, nope, torture before death.
I mean, it is valid. It is a very valid feeling. I don't see it happening to you unless you smoked a cigarette 20 years ago and Jigsaw saw it. I think you're good. I think you're good on the torture.
We're good. We're good for now. Oh my gosh. So, when means are slim, you have to use what's available to you. And creativity in the Middle Ages was an abundant resource, as were rats. Rats and animals in general have been used throughout history to enact tortures upon people. Rats serving time with you in a cramped prison, swarming you in barrels, nipping you in a closed sack, rats in drawstring pants biting your balls, rats in your butt. Just a lot of
well, hey, listen now.
To some, that might not be a torture, I guess.
Exactly.
But it's a big combination of the rats aren't stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with them types of tortures.
I love rats. I mean, I know these rats aren't the kind of rats that I love, but I love rats.
They're just like, they're like a little executioner rats. They have little hoods on, you know?
My God.
Like they're...
Yeah, employ them. If you're going to count them as part of the staff, employ them.
I would hope that they would get some type of kickback for the shit that they had to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
for real. I mean, I don't want to go into anybody's butt.
You might not like rats so much after I explain this torture to you, though.
Fuck.
Because I found one that there's one specific method that was just a little extra special. And it's the rat bowl.
Okay.
And what
Rat
is a rat
bowl?
bowl? Yeah, the bowl. The bowl of rats.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it's an earthen bowl or like pot, like a clay pot, placed over top an abdomen of a victim and like strapped down, of course, with rats inside.
Cool.
And they would put like a hot coal or like some type of intense heat would be applied to the ratty enclosure. And the rat would start to panic and desperately scurry around to try to find an exit. And the path of least resistance was usually through the soft fleshy bits rather than the hard clay pot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the easy way out.
Yep. And so their little tickly toes and their brush of the whiskers turned into violent scratching and gnawing through the entrails of the torturee. And they would just burrow until they could just rip out of some part of the body.
Cool. Again,
Yeah.
Resourceful, you know?
Resourceful when you don't have a lot. When you don't got a lot, you work with what you got. And I got rats.
I mean, that's terrible. That just had...
Yeah.
That, I don't like that. You were right. I do not like that.
That's a rough one. And there were some other articles I read that had like alternate versions of the torture where it was like it's a pot or a cage or a bucket. They'd place it over their face instead, or just cut to the chase and just like make an initial wound, just cut into the person and stuff rats into.
Okay, well, that's just lazy.
That's just lazy.
If you're going to do it right. Don't play that kind of game, all right?
Man, we got 5 minutes to kill this guy. We don't have time for the bucket.
They need to unionize or something. They don't have enough time to do their job.
Yeah.
They need resources.
Right. Go talk to HR. Yeah, we need more rats. We need to requisition.
I will talk to somebody at this prison. I will. I'm not leaving until I have a meeting.
I was only actually able to find one documented case of this torture being used about like 400 years ago during a Dutch revolt or something. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't used by other torturers that were like, damn, if what Gregory the Gory did over in Axminster, I think we can really maximize our margins if we synergize his methods with our core competencies. Pain is our pleasure, after all. That was not practiced. I promise.
So good. I love that you can always come up with a tagline. Like, truly, you always got one.
Man, maybe marketing is still a field I should look into.
You might want to explore because I'm in. I want to help them maximize their margins. Do I need to be a victim? If it helps the cause, you know?
If it helps the cause. Oh my gosh. No, I just, Rat Bucket. Yeah. Did not like hearing about Rat Bucket when I first learned about it, because that just sounds fucking awful.
Well, I was out on Rat Bucket until you said people were cheating Rat Bucket. And I was like, well, no, I'm back in on Rat Bucket because they have a job and they're doing it right. And you're trying to change that job. So
I really wonder how long it would take for a rat to burrow through a person. Like,
I mean, I've seen a rat eat another rat.
Oh.
And they're quick about it.
They're quick about it. Okay. Wow. They're efficient. That's why, see, this is why we got to hire more rats. They're efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. I think rats need to unionize, and medieval prison staff need to unionize with the rats. And then the prisoners also should unionize. Everybody should just join a union. I don't know where
this is the going. Future liberals want. We have the rat union and the prisoner union.
Fuck yes. I'm joining the rat union. I don't know about
executioners union.
There's only 3 genders. Rat union. I'm sorry.
Oh shit. Well, my next favorite horrific torture that I have stumbled across over the years, and from all places where I found, like where I initially found it, it was from Adult Swim, a show on Adult Swim called "My Pretty Face is Going to Hell," starring Henry Zebrowski. Shout out Henry Zebrowski, and also they have a podcast. Nice. Awesome. But anyway, I am about to ruin gluttony and sailing for everybody out there in one fell swoop. at the same time.
Okay.
Gone.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of either, really. So do it.
Okay.
I'm
good,
in.
It's fair. Good. Okay. So scaphism brings together what could, under different circumstances, be a pleasant weekend trip.
Okay.
A specialized boat that only allowed the arms and legs and head to be exposed was clamshelled around a victim and then like sealed. And the victim would then be force-fed a mixture of honey and milk, and then they'd also just be covered in all of this. This really thick, viscous, rich cocktail that's super sweet. Ew. And this served a twofold purpose. One, it kept the person alive because they had like the best nourishment between the sugars and the milk and the proteins. And two, to attract insects. So they would be unable to swat away the bugs that were brought in droves because of the sweet smell.
Okay.
No orifice was safe from the bugs.
Wait, none?
None.
No.
None. Nope.
I know how many there are.
Too many now.
I can do that.
Where will your orifices be safe when the bugs come?
I'm afraid they won't.
Nope.
Ew,
oh gosh,
that's awful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where this is going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty horrific.
Yeah.
And there were many other byproducts of this torture that were bad. Like their extreme exposure to the environment, so the sun's just beating down on your face and just burning your retinas to a crisp.
Yeah, and they're covered in honey. Like they just become a creme brulee at that point.
Yeah, and then it just gets a little stinkier because you end up swimming in your own excrement because of this, and that attracts more bugs, and it's just bugs on bugs, just anything. And they even like rats. The rats are back, baby. Some rats would like swim to the boat and like also
opportunists.
Yeah, they are little opportunists,
and they love to swim.
And they do, little swimmers. But the victim would actually be force-fed every day that they would live. They would be force-fed consistently to reinvigorate this whole process. And it's just, holy shit. The first recollection of this punishment noted that the person actually survived 17 days of this.
Oh my God, I'd just be begging to die.
Oh my fucking God. I would try to flip the boat and drown myself.
Yeah, please, just somebody fucking kill me. 17 days, that's more than... Bitch, no.
That was one of my other fears as a kid. Is just like getting an earwig in my ear, because you don't know better when you're a kid.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hear a bug is called an earwig, like, what am I supposed to think?
Yeah, my dad told me there were toesy woesy fish. They eat your toes, so therefore earwigs go in your ears. It's just math, you guys.
Yeah, this just all sorts of horrible, and like you can't swat them away. You can only move your head so much to like try to shake them off. Like it's just an absolute shit show of an experience. And honestly, I don't even envy the sucker that had to impart this torture either. You haven't even thought of the smell, like to have to go and like fish this guy out of the middle of the lake and put more into him while he's just screaming and covered in dookie. Like, oh God.
Yeah, they need to unionize too, because that's not good working conditions.
No, it's not. That's really bad. And for anybody else that's out there that's sick in the head like me, there's some really brutal metal band covers about this too. So if you want like an extra credit assignment, just like type in scaphism metal band cover. They're very vivid and imaginative. But
love it.
Worth a look. Yeah. Yeah, this one is I think probably one of my least favorites. It's just so prolonged. Anything that's prolonged is just like it's so much worse to me if it's like longer than 30 minutes. Like I can't be on board with that.
You can't handle it.
No. God, can you imagine like 24-hour cycles of just being covered in bees and flies and rats and poop? It's just too much.
At least it's your own poop.
That is fair.
You gotta find the silver lining.
I think there's definitely a factor there that it is worse to be covered in somebody else's shit than your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Take solace that it's your own shit. Wow.
Exactly.
The next time I shit my pants as an adult, I'll remember this conversation.
Yeah, as you should. You could have been floating in one of them boats out on the water.
Somebody else's shit.
And you could have more than just shit on you. You could have bugs and honey for some reason.
Bees like honey,
Aww,
I guess.
Well, there you go. Silver lining there, too.
Silver lining. All right, so I have one more for you guys in the torture categories.
Let's go.
I wanted to research this one specifically because I started to get a little bummed out when I was researching through the tortures because, like most historical retellings, there's only like one or two sources saying these things actually happened, and it's mostly like word of mouth stories. So like person to person shared stories back in the day. No true evidence showing that it happened, like physical evidence. And it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but 100 years of like the telephone game can embellish details, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So for the last torture that I am mentioning, I wanted to go over one that has a little more weight in the physical confirmation that it was used. And it is the death by slow cutting. The 1,000 cuts, or Ling Chi, is the torture method.
God, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to be cut by a thin, sharp blade, and it hurts.
I can't stand getting a paper cut. I can't imagine.
You can just
this.
feel your skin coming apart.
Yeah, the separation of everything. My friend actually has what's it called? It's not branding. It's like branding, except they like cut your skin off instead.
Like scarification.
Yeah, my friend has scarification. Seeing them go through scarification, which is something that they wanted and like had like minor numbing for, they were screaming their fucking head off, dude.
Oh my
like,
God.
I can't imagine getting like cut apart because you're being punished. So this punishment has been used for like about 500 years, and actually it was even written into legal code in China as a viable option to torture and kill those who had gone and committed certain offenses back in the day.
Jeez, brutal.
Yeah, like
Right.
government incited torture.
Yeah, good for China. Yeah. All right.
So what made me so interested in this was that the last documented case branched over into the early 1900s. So like not even 100 years have passed since the last person was killed by Ling Chi.
Oh, wow.
Woo! So on good days, this torture was reserved for mass murderers and high treasonists, which, yay, like finally something is being applied to people that deserve it, I guess. But like most laws, they are often bent for personal use by the powerful.
Shocker.
Wow, the government's doing bad things with their laws.
Who would have thought? I mean, that's already a bad law to begin with.
Right.
We electrocute people in the States, and like, that's bad enough.
Right,
Y'all
that's
are
already brutal enough.
Intentionally doing this long, drawn out, that's crazy.
And it ended up going into like, oh, we're going to start using Ling Chi for people with minor offenses to be warnings to others and like all sorts of other fucked up stuff. So, yeah, nobody is safe from Ling Chi. Your butthole's not safe from the flies, and no one is safe from Ling Chi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
So what exactly is Ling Chi? Let me break it down step by step for everybody out there. So the victim would be bound to some type of wooden frame, not like a Jesus and a cross type of situation, but similar enough. And somebody with a sharp knife would get to work removing pieces of flesh from them one at a time. And there really was no exact like code or algorithm to follow. So it could be strips, chunks, limbs, whatever could be removed in whatever order that was seen fit by the torturers that day. Whatever. Oh, it's a Wednesday. I'm going for toes first. Like, it's whatever they felt like in that moment.
Yeah, everybody has their morning routine. You know?
So if they were feeling merciful that day, or they were paid off by family members, they could actually have just done like a single cut, and that would be like the killing blow. But depending on how much was taken and how much of the public spectacle is meant to be, the torture could have lasted minutes to days and really be drawn out as just a warning and a, hey, don't fuck around and don't find out type of thing. I did see in some articles that it was mentioned that opium could have been administered to either assist with pain, either in like a prolonging way or an easing way, depending on the situation. So like, okay, it's going to keep you alive for longer, or like maybe like help you not feel too much of this. Because, oh boy, having strips of yourself like torn off is just...
It doesn't sound like a good time.
No, not at all. This torture functioned on 3 different levels. So it's the public humiliation to cause a slow and arduous death. And like this part's fucked up. A postmortem punishment. Because of their beliefs at the time, the body needed to be kept whole for the spirit to thrive after the death. So continuing the punishment after they died was literally to fuck with their afterlives. Bro, like not even your spirit is gonna rest easy. That's
evil.
Fucked.
You can't torture someone on the astro plane. Like, what the hell? You already
like that's
did
absolutely
enough.
wild. So fucked up. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. So, now you're saying out there, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof, you may be asking? Well, I promise proof. Here it is. For one, there's quite a bit of written documentation, written evidence of this happening, along with it being in the legal code, and there being a list documented of the people who suffered by it. But y'all, there's pictures. There's pictures, my dude. Holy shit, there's pictures. So there's like there's some French soldiers stationed up in Beijing, and they saw and photographed 3 of the Lingqi executions in 1904 and 1905. Look them up. Don't look them up, but like look them up. Like they're so fucked.
Okay,
because so
originally I was gonna be like, why were they documenting this? But that makes more sense. Somebody saw them.
Are you looking at them? Are you looking at them?
I'm working on it. I'm having a hard time.
You got to turn your safe search off.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna view.
Yeah, dude, they were not pulling punches.
What the fuck? Oh, this picture's just on the Wikipedia.
Yep.
Why would you do this?
It's horrific. It's seriously, and then like the fact that there's so many people around them, like this was meant for people to watch, and like
this is a community event.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, you catching the torture at 1400 today? Nah, I'm gonna hit the one at 15. Like, what are you talking about? That's insane.
It's really crazy, and there's hundreds of people surrounding these people being killed and tortured. It's just
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's horrendous. So yeah, definitely warning if you do look up these photos. It's pretty barbaric to look at. But there's your proof. It's real.
It is real. Yeah, I see
and it happened.
It did happen.
Oh shit, dude.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, sorry for the nightmare fuel, everybody.
Hey, they asked for it.
That's true.
Someone asked for it, but we deliver on our promises.
Yes, we do. Here at Mort Mike, we deliver on our horrific promises.
And if you had to hear a little bit about some torture, some horrific murders, what did you think you were listening to?
That's true. It's going to be in the name of this episode.
Horrific. Just in big capital letters, asterisks all around it.
Danger.
Beware.
Come for the rats. Stay for the death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, that's so crazy. I can't get over that last one. That picture is going to haunt me.
Yeah.
I see a lot of fucked up shit, but...
That's, like, extra fucked up.
That is
That's
so
like
messed up.
Jeffrey Dahmer fucked up.
Like, why would you do that? And you're, like, just all hanging around. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm caught up on it. Terrible.
Well, depending. Maybe next... We'll do, like, a softer episode for, like, next episode just as a palate cleanser for everybody.
I think that's in order, for sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe next episode we'll talk about puppies.
Yeah.
Dead puppies. No, I'm just
dead puppy. Oh, God.
I mean, it wouldn't be Mort Mike without a little death.
That's our twist and turn.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden we're talking about something so cute, so nice. Everybody's like, oh, this is really different. Death. Immediately.
What if it were dead?
Exactly.
That's going to be it this week on More Mike. We would really like to thank Vermilion for making the suggestion for these topics for this episode. I had a lot of fun, even though it was kind of fucking my brain up a little bit along the way looking up all these tortures and murders, but it's probably what I would have been doing on a weekday anyway. So
it was fucked up anyway.
Yeah. So thanks again, Vermilion, for that. And you too could be in the running to pick an episode for us next year. All you have to do is at the end of the year, the end of 2024, go ahead and make us a simple donation. It could be $1, it could be whatever, to our PayPal to get you into the running to be able to be selected and pick an episode of your own. So be listening for us towards the end of the year to announce it, and we'll get you on that list if you're a donor. Thanks again, Vermilion, and thanks again to all of our listeners. That has been it this week on Mort Mike. Connect with us on our socials at Facebook and YouTube at Mort Mike Podcast. If you have any suggestions on topics you'd like to hear about or burning questions you might have about death, shoot us an email at mortmikepodcast@gmail.com.
A huge thanks to Joey, our dedicated studio gopher, Marson Music for our theme Deputies of Death, and Macklin Legan for our custom icons and banners.
And be sure to tune in the first Thursday of every month for more casual discussions on death. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Mort Mike. Bye.
Bye.